Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, a new light shall break upon the earth, a new world shall be born, and the things that were announced shall be fulfilled. With my love and blessings, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Divine Mother, taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother, Question and Answers, edition 7, page 11. Question, sweet Mother, when a serious decision is to be taken, how to know on which side lies one's true destiny? For this, our Divine Mother says, you have not one destiny, but several. Everyone has the right to rejoin his supreme origin, whatever may be his place in the world order. That is the gift the Divine has made to matter, and that is your true destiny. It is a gift specially made to earth. It does not exist in other worlds. At the same time, everyone has a particular role in the manifestation. Everyone has a particular role in the manifestation which is fixed for him by the Supreme. But this role itself again may be situated on different levels according to the degree of evolution of that which is within you. If that within you is yet very young, your realization may be absolute and you may indeed rejoin the Supreme, but the field of realization in the world will be limited, very small. A Divine Mother says, on the vertical plane, you may touch directly the Supreme in spite of your smallness, but on the horizontal plane, the extent of your realization will be infinitesimal. We may take the example of Maheshwari, the mother of power and all wisdom. This aspect of the mother may put on different forms according to the degree of evolution of that in you. That may be a simple, small group leader, a queen, an empress. She will be there equally in the group leader and in the empress, but the field of realization will evidently be different. Thus, on the same vertical plane that leads you to the divine origin, you may have several external destinies according to your stage of growth. Yoga seeks to make a thorough run, but that is not always possible. There are psychological combinations in the being that can be resolved by experience only. That experience may be had in a few lives, a few years, a few months, a few minutes. A Divine Mother says, when one sees in the Supreme Consciousness the unrolling of all the destinies and all the possibilities of destiny, that is something infinitely interesting. There are beings who are accused of megalomania because they have vast projects, big plans which do not always square with the present possibilities of the world. Most often it is simply a want of judgment on their part, a lack of knowledge. They have come indeed in contact with the higher truth, something corresponding perhaps to a future phase of their destiny, and that is why they are so convinced. But because of lack of judgment, they do not see that the time for that truth is not yet come. The circumstances are not ready, or that conditions under which they were born prevent them from carrying out what they feel to be true. There is a time lag between the vision of the truth and its present possibilities of realization. But these dreams should not be killed. It is the killing of something of your own future. Above all, you must refuse, reject with all energy this hideous morality of a Mrs. Grundy, this gross, shallow common sense of a Sancho Panza. One must know how simply to wait and cherish long one's dream. To conclude, this is what can be said. There cannot be two similar destinies in the universe. Inevitably, the destiny of everyone is being worked out for him. The nearer one is to the divine, the more this destiny puts on the divine qualities, says our Divine Mother. Question. Sweet Mother, what one calls individuality, is it not the ego? For this, our Divine Mother says, it is a confusion that is often made. If it were so, the ego being a falsehood and an illusion, the individuality itself would be false and illusory. But in fact, the origin of the individuality is in the Supreme itself. The ego is only a temporary deformation necessary for a time. It disappears when it is no more useful, when the truth consciousness has been re-established. Our Divine Mother says, consciousness is one, everywhere and in everything the same. That is the great mystery of creation. But the very moment this consciousness is manifested, exteriorized, spread out, it is broken into innumerable pieces for the sake of expansion, and each one of these particles is in the beginning the origin of the individual being. The origin of every individual form is the original law of that form or the truth of that form. If each form had not its law, its truth, there would be no possibility of individualization. There might be concentrated collective formations, but no individual consciousness. Each form represents one element in the change of the single into the multiple. This multiplicity implies an innumerable quantity of elements of consciousness, of truth, of law, which, as they spread out into the universe, finally become distinctive individualities. The individual being, says our Divine Mother, seems to move away from its origin because of the necessities of the individualization. But when this individualization, that is to say, this awareness of the inner truth is achieved, then by an inner identification, the original unity is re-established in the multiplicity. That is the reason for the existence of the universe as we perceive it. The universe has been created in order that this phenomena may occur. The Supreme manifests himself to himself so that he may become conscious of himself. Question, Sweet Mother, is it possible to judge and know with the help of the mind? Our Divine Mother says, mind should never be allowed to judge either things or men, to say this is good and that is bad, this is well, that is ill, this man has this fault, that man has that fault. For mind judges in ignorance. It has not the knowledge, the true vision of things. Knowledge, says our Divine Mother, is infinitely above and beyond the domain of thought, beyond even pure ideas that thoughts serve to express. And even if you are able to rise from thought to pure idea, you do not reach knowledge yet, for pure idea is only a translation. Our Divine Mother says knowledge itself can be gained only by identification. And yet, this little human mentality, this mentality of physical consciousness, how sure it is of itself, of its judgment, of its vision, how it looks at things and judges them from the height of its ridiculous superiority, giving its decree, this is bad and should not be. On the contrary, this is good. Our Divine Mother says, if you wish to be a little wiser, observe things attentively, record them without pronouncing any judgment. When you will have contemplated, then quietly within yourself, place them before the highest part of your consciousness, trying to keep yourself silently attentive and wait. Then, perhaps, slowly, as if coming from very far and from very high, something like a light will manifest itself, and you will know a little more of the truth. Question, sweet mother, if one happens in a higher state of consciousness to perceive something true, how is that all circumstances combine to deny this truth and prevent its realization? Our Divine Mother says, if you look far enough and widen sufficiently your vision, you will be able to see the consequences which the realization of truth might have had. If you advance on the path that is ready, for there are paths as there are beings that are ready, without patiently waiting for the rest of the creation. That is to say, if you realize something which is very near the truth as compared with the present state of the world, what will happen? Dislocation of a whole, rupture not only in harmony but in balance, for an entire portion of the universe will be there that will not be able to follow. And instead of a total realization of the divine, there will be only a small and infinitesimal local realization, and nothing of what finally should be done will be done. So do not be impatient, do not be disappointed, depressed, or discouraged if you perceive something that is true, absolutely, essentially true, but which the present state of the universe does not allow to be realized. Am yourself with a great patience, a great understanding, and tell yourself that it was true, but it was not totally true. True for the whole of the creation, that is to say, it was not a truth in harmony with the present possibilities. You have sought to realize the truth prematurely, and because it was premature, the circumstances did not allow its realization. Wait with patience and perseverance for the time to come. The final victory will be for the most enduring. Next topic, the supreme poise. Our Divine Mother says it is generally thought that when a creation reaches the maximum of its possibilities, that is the perfection. But it is precisely against this idea that I rise. Perfection is not a summit, it is not an extreme. There is no extreme. Whatsoever you do, there is always the possibility of something better. And exactly this possibility of something better is the very meaning of progress. Nature, in whatever she does, goes to the extremes, and when she sees that she can advance no longer, she pulls down everything and begins again.
Continent, le choix est impératif, c'est la vérité ou la vie.
Our Divine Mother says, you cannot call that a perfection for perfection cannot be pulled down. Perfection will exist only when nature will no longer be able to undo what she has begun. But for the moment, there is no instance of her not having undone in the process what she has undertaken when she judges that it is not sufficient or not that which she wanted to do. So it cannot be said that she has reached perfection in her creation. Thus, human being as he is now cannot progress indefinitely, cannot attain perfection unless he comes out of himself. He must pass into a higher species or must give up this species to create another. Man is a transitional being. You can say in the ordinary language, oh, he is a perfect man, but it is a literary figure of speech. The maximum that the human being can reach now is perhaps a static poise, but what is static can be broken because of the lack of progress. Perfection is not a static state, it is a poise and dynamic poise. You can move from perfection to perfection. You can conceive of a state which is not necessary, as in the nature's march today, to descend to a lower rung in order to be able to advance. In the new state, one can always go forward without stopping anywhere instead of being compelled to turn back to start again. Perfection will be reached in the individual, in the collectivity upon earth and in the universe, when at every moment the receptivity will be equal in quality and quantity to the force that seeks to manifest. That will be the supreme poise between what comes from above and what spreads below, a realization in constant progress, says our Divine Mother.